I want to get some more now from a key Democrat, a member of the House Intelligence Committee, Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us, and I want to discuss what's going on in the House in just a moment. But as you know, the IDF is now saying they're facing assault from 3 fronts: Gaza, Lebanon, and now Syria. I know you've just been briefed as a member of the Intelligence Committee. What can you tell us?
Well, certainly as a member of the House Intelligence Committee and as a former intelligence officer with the CIA, I know that our intelligence community is working round the clock to collect all available information so that we can ensure that we are strong and important vital partners to our Israeli counterparts, particularly during this time of catastrophic need on the ground in Israel. What we know is that there has been a horrific act of terrorism, violent, horrific crimes committed against families, against women, against children, against babies. And among the dead are Americans, and among the hostages are Americans as well. So we are working here on Capitol Hill, certainly as a member of the Intelligence Committee, to make sure that we are conducting the necessary oversight, but also keeping a close watch on what is happening on the ground in Israel, especially as our close partner and ally continues to face attacks around the clock.
I know you've echoed, like so many other of your Republican and Democratic colleagues for that matter, President Biden's call to surge military aid to Israel. But how damaging, Congresswoman, is it for the House of Representatives to be essentially powerless right now until it has a new speaker?
Well, as interim steps, the Biden administration and President Biden took important steps forward, saying that we were going to push more munitions and additional supplies for the Iron Dome to Israel. But the next step has to be congressional action. It has to be a vote on the House floor to provide additional support to our Israeli partners and allies. And that has to happen very, very soon. And in order for that to be possible, our Republican counterparts who are in the majority must elect a new speaker so that the House of Representatives can do the business of the people, both for our constituents at home and for our partners and allies abroad.
In his address today, his televised address today, President Biden did not call for any restraint from Israel. Are you at all concerned that Palestinian civilians in Gaza will pay a heavy toll for what's going on right now?
The reality is that Palestinian civilians have been paying a heavy price under Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization that has been wreaking havoc on the people of Gaza and has been now committing horrific and atrocious acts of violence in Israel, in villages and towns and communities, murdering people in their beds, attacking large community gatherings and a music concert. And so what Israel needs to continue doing is to recognize the ongoing threat of this terrorist organization, certainly to the people in Israel as they continue to inflict harm, and to the hostages that Hamas continues to hold, and to the people on the ground in Gaza.
How worried are you about civilian casualties in Gaza?
I am deeply concerned about any time a civilian is killed, is put in the middle of what is a horrific and violent act of engagement. In this case, I won't use combat because, in fact, Hamas, when they went into Israel, they targeted civilians, they targeted families, they targeted kids, and murdered them. But Israel needs to continue to be able to defend herself. We all across the world need to ensure the safety and security of civilians, and the United States needs to stand ready to help our allies.
Congresswoman Spanberger, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.